Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, Mr. Barry Gilbert, thank you for your presence in this program. We really appreciate your participation in this business matching program. Currently, we have 35 uh, small medium enterprise from all over Indonesia that are interested to provide the products you are looking for. And also in Jakarta, we have several others members that also participate in this meeting. Yeah, Mr. Barry Gilbert, we hope with this program, our member can have information about the products, about the characteristic of products, and other requirement for the products to be exported to UK. Ya, teman-teman semua, ya, apakah perlu ditranslate atau langsung Inggris saja? Silakan dicek apa perlu masih ditranslate. Ya, oke, ya, oke, ya, oke, oke, Mr. Berry, ya, uh, apparently most of the members understand English very well and no need to translate it again uh, by me. So, Mr. Barry Gilbert, please now you can give information to our members about you and your company, yeah, and also the information needed for the products to be good and very well sold in UK or European market. Okay, please, Mr. Barry. Your voice is still mute. You are still mute. Please unmute dari sini.
Is it okay now?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Please go ahead, Mr. Barry.
Right. Well, thanks, Ronnie. Thanks for inviting me today to share some of my experience with your members. I'd just like to briefly tell everyone why it's a good idea to try to export to the UK in particular. What my background is in this regard, and then what types of product will be useful to the UK or easy for you to export, and also what types of product will not be so good for you to try to export. So it's a general thing. It's not simply about which products you could send to my company. It's really for your own benefit to learn something about yourself as an exporter, what things you need to consider in terms of what types of product would be easy to export to different parts of the world. So first question probably is, why would I as an exporter from Indonesia, why would I want to export to the UK and Europe? Well, UK in particular is the 7th largest economy in the world, so it's pretty big. Obviously, as English is spoken everywhere, which I'm sure helps, as you all seem to be able to speak a good level of English. And UK is, I don't know if you know this, but UK is a service economy. In other words, we don't really make very many things here anymore. Our whole economy is based on services like marketing and things like banking and cryptocurrencies and things like that. We really don't have a very strong manufacturing base, and we tend to import most of our actual products that we use, including obviously food, drink, but also many other types of product from overseas. And because of that, we've got very good, strong routes to the UK via both ship and via air. So it's relatively easy, although not always cheap these days, to ship your products to the UK. So those are the good reasons why you should consider the UK and Europe as as an opportunity for your products. Now, in terms of my own experience, I've got at least 12 years experience of importing products from Indonesia, particularly. I started off many years ago importing rattan furniture, and at one point I had 2 warehouses and I was importing up to 8 containers of rattan furniture a month. So I think I do know something about importing products to the UK. Since then, I've slowed down a little bit, and nowadays I tend to import much smaller things, which are much easier to handle, obviously. But I have worked with Ronnie for 10 years. He's helped me a lot in terms of contacting people in Indonesia. So together we've done reasonably well in terms of importing products from Indonesia to the UK over a decade. In my own business in the UK, I've built up a very strong set of e-commerce channels, so I can sell products through multiple channels like eBay, Amazon, a company called Etsy, which is focused heavily on handicrafts, and my own websites. And also I can sell from here to other parts of Europe. So it's quite a large outlet that we're talking about. And so I think those are the reasons why you should, if you want to, you should consider using my company to export your products to, and we'd be very happy to look at those products that you have. And if you want to take part in that, please send an email to Ronnie, and he will forward the necessary information or the samples to myself. So just to say that the next big shipment from Indonesia is sometime around the middle to the end of March. So if you have any samples you want me to look at, you could try to target that as the next optimal date for sending them to Ronnie. So hopefully that's clear as to why you should use my company Shadowfax as an importing agent. Now, over the years, I have to say I've tried many different products, and some have been very successful and some have been not too successful at all. And a lot of these reasons are because of various aspects of the product itself. So I'm sure you've considered some of these things yourself, but let's take 1 or 2 examples. So if you look at size, for example, okay, now these days, the people who ship the products, like FedEx, they don't send goods by weight. They also send it by volume. So there's some sort of formula that they use, which is partly by weight and by volume. So if you've got let's say a large basket, which you've made in a handicraft shop, you may think, well, this is a really cheap product, and if I sell it, I can make a good margin on it. But actually, most of that margin might be taken up simply by the shipping cost, because these things are so big that the exporter will charge you a huge amount of money to send it to the UK, especially if that's by air. right? Okay, so that's one thing to bear in mind. So size is quite important in this case. The second thing is the UK has been importing products for a long time, and we have a massive infrastructure which is set up to test the products for the UK to make sure they're safe and make sure that the electric products don't blow up when somebody switches on a kettle or something. So what it means is that for things like food and electrical products and so on, when you send those goods to the UK, the quality has to be 100%, because if it's not, then they'll be rejected by these companies that test. So I'll give you an example. When we were exporting the furniture from Indonesia, the local manufacturer said we were actually exporting the cushions as well for the people to sit on the furniture. And the local manufacturer said, yes, these are all flame retardant. We've thoroughly sprayed these cushions with flame retardant material. I guarantee they're 100% flame retardant. Right, so what happened when they came to the UK? We had to send them off for certification. The first thing they did at the certification depot was to take the cushion and soak it in water, because in the UK, the flame retardant material must be there after several washes. So the first thing they do is they soak it. So what happened? All the flame retardant material disappeared. They dried out the product. They lit it and nearly set fire to their laboratory. So it's total disaster, which we didn't know. And it costs quite a lot of money to actually find that out. So we found out that the product we had at cost was absolutely useless for the UK market. So there is a lot of effort in the UK to actually check out products. So if you're going to think about exporting things like electrical goods or food or drink or other things which may particularly have an impact on safety, then please maybe ask local bodies whether they will be successful in the UK, or you can ask myself or Ronnie to find out for you. So that's the quality aspect of it. And then of course, there's the pricing. Now, pricing is quite subjective, because if you, let's say you have a product that's just a few thousand rupiah, okay, so you think how, and you know what prices are like in the UK, they're extortionate. So you think, well, if I sell this product in the UK, there's going to be a massive profit. But what you don't realize is once you have ship that product to, let's say, Ronnie's warehouse in Indonesia, the cost from there on is absolutely enormous. So if you're sending it by air or even by sea, you've got costs involved in the port of authority, which charges money. You've got costs from the shipper. When it gets to the UK, we have taxes on imports from overseas. So we've got taxes there. Then there's an enormous cost to ship those goods from the port to my warehouse in the UK. And then after that, then we've got to consider the cost of actually putting it onto a website here, which is at the moment, most websites like Amazon are charging at least 20%. So that's 20% of the cost of the product is going straight to them. And then you've also got the VAT, which is another tax which I would have to pay on those products, but when they're sold, and that is again 20% in the UK. So from what starts as you think, oh, I can't see how we can fail, but actually when you start to add up all the extra costs that are involved in shipping overseas, it does make a massive difference. And in fact, this again is one mistake that I made when I first came to Indonesia, I saw the price of rattan furniture in exhibitions in Indonesia. I saw the price over here, and it was nearly 7 or 8 times difference, 7 times difference. And yet it was still not that easy to make a profit over here. So you've got to bear that in mind when you consider these products that you have as well. Now, another big one to look at is how fragile are your products. Again, I've had experience recently. Products which were really well packed in Indonesia were sent to me, and unfortunately, about 4 out of 5 of them were broken. And it's not any fault of the exporter. It is simply the fact that these products get very badly handled once they leave your warehouse, once they leave Ronnie's warehouse, let's say, and get shipped over to me. Nobody cares too much about those products, and they're handled very, very carefully. So if you've got anything that's fragile at all, it either has to be very, very well packed, or probably not a good idea for export. So that again is something to think about. Now, the other one that we've tripped over a few times is the branding issue. So we had some beautiful bags that we saw when I was on a trip to Indonesia a few years ago. Absolutely gorgeous, made out of snake skin, and they shone beautifully. I thought anybody would like these bags in the UK. But what I didn't realise, they were copies of Hermes bags. So obviously, trying to sell those in the UK could have been a bit of a problem, and I could have ended up in jail. So it wasn't a particularly successful product either. So branded goods are frowned upon here. I know some people still do it, but I don't think it's a very good idea. And I think you should probably avoid going down that market, particularly into Europe. And last but not least, another one that I've come across is products where you've got multiple sizes. So, for example, shoes or even T-shirts or something like that, right? Because if you expect the importer to stock up on all those different sizes, it's extremely expensive, and they don't know which ones they're going to sell. So you could have small, very small, medium, large, very large, extra large, extra large, and all of those sizes will add up to a massive inventory for the importer. So again, products with sizes, you have to be very sure of your market before you try to sell those. Okay, so those are just a list of a few of the things that you probably need to consider very carefully when you look at exporting to Europe. Now, okay, so what are the products that are going to be very successful? That's probably a good thing we should look at. So based on some of the things we've said above, obviously, items that are quite small, like a watch. A watch would be a successful thing because it doesn't take up any volume. It doesn't need any real import checks because it's got no real health issues to worry about. It's got no electronics to worry about. So that would be a very good product to look at. And the other one I think you should consider is, which has been very successful for me, is to look at the effect of what I call long tail products. Okay, I don't know if any of you have read a book called Long Tail by a guy. What's his name is? Okay. His name's Chris Anderson. He wrote a book about long tail. And what it means is that if you if you take a product, right, I'll give you an example here. This is a earring, okay? So I don't know if you can see it, but it's an earring. It's a silver earring. Now, this was sold with a John Lennon. It's got a John Lennon picture on it, right? So it was sold to people who like music. Now, the beauty of that product is I could, as an importer, and you as an exporter, I can buy a bag full of the earrings, and then I can buy another bag full of the plectrum, the guitar plectrum, and whatever combination I sell here, I just simply put the plectrum onto the earring. Now, it's a very simple example, but it really has a lot of meaning behind it, because what it's saying is that the importer does not need to carry massive amounts of stock, but he will still sell a large amount of product for you and for him. So you can apply this to many different types of products. So it's basically saying you take the product, you split it into components, and you can interchange this, let's say this one for a different band or a different musician, and you've got a new product straight away. And it's cost you next to nothing, because the plectrum is very, very low cost. And yet this product is a much higher cost because it's a silver earring. So it's a concept rather than a particular product I'm talking about, but that has been very useful to me in terms of sort of things that you can sell. Now, the other thing is about selling your products to a UK seller, a UK e-commerce seller, is that by and large he has to set him or herself up as a seller of some particular type of product. So let's give you an example. Let's say it's a jewelry. Let's say I want to set up a jewelry website. So the beauty of that is I can put multiple products into one website. So it's not like, I've got a rattle for babies. I'll just set up a website selling rattles, because that is not cost effective to set up a website for one product. And also, if you put it onto Amazon, you're one of a million people selling rattles. So what you've got to do, you've got to give the exporter the opportunity to have a shop. So a shop is available on Amazon or on eBay or Etsy, and within that shop they sell a range of products. So if you have a range of let's say jewelry, that would be extremely attractive to the importer from Europe. And another example would be, for example, leather goods like watch straps or wallets, purses, all those things, but they've got one common denominator, which is leather. So, I'm setting myself up as a leather shop where I'm selling wallets, watch straps, and so on. So those are things you need to definitely consider, and they are, in my opinion, the sort of products that would do very well. So small, long tail if possible, and also if you get multiple products, if you've got a leather shop, you can make multiple things. That's again attractive to an importer. So that's really my side of it. And I'm quite happy to answer any questions if you want to fire any questions at me via Ronnie or directly. I don't mind. What do you want to do, Ronnie?
Yeah, maybe. Yes, Mr. Berry, thank you for your information regarding several things that need to be considered when we want to export products to UK or Europe. Yeah, and here in this room we have like 70 something participants. maybe they have a unique and distinguished products that need your opinion or your thoughts about whether the products is good according to your criteria that you already mentioned, whether it's good for UK or European market. So for our member, yeah, member, you can ask question to Mr. Berry whether your particular product is appropriate to be sold to UK or European market. So please, for member who want to ask question, please raise your hand. Okay, maybe Mr. Berry, you have time until what time then? You still have time, maybe around
Yeah,
15
yeah,
minutes to
yeah,
stay with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I will let our members to ask you some questions regarding their products, and maybe you can give your opinion about their products. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, for members, maybe better you also can show your products to Mr. Berry, so Mr. Berry can give his opinion about your products, whether the products good to be sold in Europe or UK. Yeah.